In the headlines, Prime Minister Skerrit makes appeals in UN address for assistance for small island developing states to implement sustainable development goals. Contracts assigned for the restoration of 5 segments of the Waitukubuli National Trail, and $3 million needed to complete the Cathedral renovation project. I'm Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil. Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, Prime Minister Skerrit has highlighted some of the unfair challenges making it almost impossible for small island developing states to implement sustainable development goals. Prime Minister Skerrit was addressing a high-level meeting at the United Nations on climate and sustainable development for all.
Despite our social, economic and environmental risks, vulnerabilities and precarious positions in the macro global framework, international rules compel small island developing states like mine and those of my Caribbean brothers and sisters to compete with and on the same terms as the world's largest economies. The confluence of these factors, when combined with the impacts of climate change, has placed many SIDS at risk of not achieving the SDGs. Indeed, our very survival is in jeopardy.
SDG 10 is about reducing inequality within and among countries. Inequalities in income and wealth are severe and have been widening globally. The richest 1% of the world's population now control up to 40% of global assets, while the poorest half owns just 1%.
Recognizing that we are on the front line of the battle against climate change, now is the time for the global community to take decisive action to support SIDS in building capacity, ensuring clear, predictable sources of financing, developing low-carbon technologies, offering a future to our young people, providing a decent standard of living for our citizens, and securing our sustainable development.
In other top stories, contracts have been drawn up for the clearing of 5 segments of the Waitukubuli National Trail. The Waitukubuli National Trail is the Caribbean's first long-distance walking trail spanning 184 kilometers or 115 miles and comprising 14 segments. It runs from the village of Soufriere in the south to Cabrits National Park in the north. During Hurricane Maria, the fallen trees and land movement caused the trail to be blocked in several areas. And while significant work has been done in clearing the trail, some parts are still closed to hikers. Coordinator of the World Bank Project Implementation Unit in the Ministry of Agriculture, Kerwin Stevenson, says the blocked segments hinder the revenue-making capacity of the National Trail.
We have already started discussions, and not only discussions, we have already drawn up contracts for the Ministry of Forestry to start some clearance of the Waitukubuli Trail in segments 5 and 6, section 8, and segment 11 and 13. Because these are the segments that are in great demand, and there are still some hindrances on those trails that preventing 100% access from making some revenue from the trails. So contracts have already been written.
Stevenson says the ministry is awaiting funding to start the clearance works under these contracts.
We're in the process of ensuring that the finances move from Washington into our national bank, and up to last week, the PS and myself, We set up both a US account and an EC account, hoping that the money can actually be transferred within a week or two, so that we can actually commit ourselves to paying those contracts for the free contracts that we have already issued for clearing the Whitey Kubuli trails.
In other developments, approximately $3 million needed to complete the Cathedral renovation project. Julian Morris has that story.
Fundraising for the renovation project started in 2004 when the plan was to restore the roof. The cost of that venture was calculated at $3 million. However, the scope of works grew and the entire building now has to be refurbished. To date, the project cost stands at just over $12 million. A member of the Cathedral Renovation Committee, Val Coffey, says the price of material keeps rising over the years, and this has led to the increased overall cost of the project.
Is well in excess of $6+ million because of the every year that has gone by that, and even if they said back if Maria, so I mean it's closer to 10, 12, you know, because so many millions have been spent in terms of trying to catch back your where you were, and then the cost of the material and getting it to the Dominica. So it has been a tough call. At this point, there's work going on behind the scenes in terms of putting together the logistics for the completion of the roof. Also, there are discussions ongoing in regards to what happens after the roof, the next phase as it relates to putting together the overall structure, the interior, as well as exterior works. But we are looking to raise at least another $3.2 million, or just over $3 million, in terms of trying to get all of this done. And we are working in earnest because the longer we wait, the cost goes up in terms of the materials that are needed.
In 2012, roof tiles containing asbestos were safely removed from the cathedral, and back then it was said the overall project had a 3-year lifespan and would cost $8 million. Most recently, the deadline for completion of the project was 2020. Coffey is hopeful works can enter a new phase after Easter.
They're working very closely with all the providers in terms of the persons involved in the project, in terms of giving the quantities needed in terms of getting the work dispatched and properly. So we are hoping that somewhere, even after Easter, that we could really see much progress going on and the beginning of these new works, and hopefully that we really would like to see that the cathedral is completed as soon as possible. We were aiming for 2020. Which is upon us, but we're hoping that they could speed up the work, but we really need the support of every Dominican Catholic and every Dominican Christian to really appreciate the fact that the cathedral, being the landmark that it is, and the institution, is something that is very significant for several hundreds of years in Dominica.
The Cathedral Renovation Committee has on the cards the first ever praise cruise scheduled for March next year, in hoping to raise funds for the renovation project. Coffey says there are other fundraisers in the works and is appealing to the public to help in the completion of the cathedral renovation project.
The bishop is working with a lot of agencies in terms of trying to give some support. We have Father Ogis in Florida, who has a non-profit organization that he's working with in terms of trying to generate funds out there. Deacon Knight, this beautiful idea, we're hoping to continue to see how we can push this. We have a number of fundraising activities that are being coordinated in regards to our summer fair that we have. We have other initiatives that we're hoping to plan for 2019 and beyond. So we just looking. I mean, we know it's tough for everybody economically, but we believe that the more that you give, the more that you get back, and we don't have to wait, to figure out that if you need to give to God.
The Roseau Cathedral is over 160 years old and is viewed as a landmark of historical, cultural, and religious significance.
In more news, Member of Parliament for Petite-Savanne, Honorable Kenneth Daru, has described the housing resettlement in Bellevue-Chopin as an extraordinary outreach of humanity towards the displaced residents. Daru says residents will be forever grateful to government for this gesture, providing over 300 climate-resilient residencies for those displaced by Tropical Storm Erika in 2015. Daru spoke on Tuesday at a handing over ceremony where keys to an additional 52 homes were presented by government. 38 homes were handed over in December last year.
The handing over of these further 52 housing units signifies yet another step towards the complete relocation of the affected residents
And indeed, with each home completed, with each family placed, with each key handed over, I feel the burden getting lighter and lighter. And I look forward to the day that the very last family will be placed. On this note, I would like to reassure you that each and every family and resident will be relocated. I'm sure you can appreciate that there are sufficient homes for all, and there is absolutely no need for the unnecessary anxiety and concern that I get coming from some of you from time to time. Please, you've been extremely patient and understanding thus far. Let's keep it that way.
Daru, who has been through some of the toughest times with his constituency, will not contest the upcoming general elections. Marvel Williams has been announced as the Pititsavan candidate for the 2020 general elections.
As the sun set on my tenure as a member of parliament, and though you gave me a run for my money, yes you did, many of you gave me a serious run for my money, I must admit that we had a good run together. And whilst I will be the first to admit, like I've done numerous times before, that most certainly there are many things that I could have done better. And options may vary, opinions, may vary as to my stewardship for the better part of the past decade. But none can, or rather none should deny my commitment towards the betterment of my people. And as I walk or drive through the beautiful streets among these beautiful homes, I can't help feeling a certain sense of pride as having been part of this historic accomplishment. And though the challenges were many, yes they were, and though many times the easiest way out seemed to have given up the fight, I am glad that we saw it through together. And our accomplishment together as a team makes a very good CV. And we can sit together like the good book says, well done, thou good and faithful servants.
On to the creative industries. One young photographer is applauding the increased recognition being given to the craft. Jordan Jerome was recently awarded the DDA's and DFC's Exceptional Photography Award for Mass Dominic 2019. Jerome says the award is proof that authorities are looking at the work of those in the industry and encourage others to keep developing their talent.
I can talk about today, they recognizing us, you know. And let me give them the benefit of the doubt. They recognizing us, they had their eyes open, and I've spoken to a few of them, they always had their eyes open. You know, it's just they're really looking for us to do our hard work and show them that we in that with the hard work, we in that any passion, so now they can step forward and give us the recognition.
Jerome was recognized for being able to capture all events and activities of Mass Dominic 2019 in real time, allowing those who were overseas to also experience the carnival. He says he uses equipment's technology to his advantage and will keep challenging himself to put out better products.
During the carnival season, the whole vibes for me was just trying my best and pushing, doing something different, you know. And I came up with the idea to use the technology of my camera. You know, my camera, Wi-Fi, them kind of a thing there. So take out a picture and I can go straight to my cell phone, edit it on my cell phone, put my watermark on my cell phone, them kind of a thing, you check, and just post it one time. It's like I wanted that feel of people that maybe far, the people that maybe cannot come now, you know. They on social media and they following me and they getting that little dose of what's going on. Quick time, you know. During the carnival season I did the same thing. And you know, like they said, you know, people had their eyes open, and I just thankful that they're giving us the recognition. To me, it just giving me another motivation to just continue and pushing my work and just giving that to that next level.
Jerome says he will continue to give assistance to upcoming photographers to help improve the skill set within the industry.
Oh, don't talk about that. I started that long time. I have plenty of photographers that honor me, you know, that I always giving them little pointers, always giving them a little touch. Even during the carnival seasons, I have a lot of them following me and watching how I'm doing my vibes, and I tell them, you know, it's that and that. You know, it's just about experience in photography. It's experience that really getting you that edge over them, and they find because you have a little more experience, they can feed off you, and that is no problem. I always willing to give them the little pointers. I always willing to give them the little push, not just photographers, but you know, vloggers, videographers.
This year, for the first time, awards were also given for exceptional videography and the preservation of Buyo music. You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are,
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
there's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Skerrit is recommending the development of a well-defined financial instrument for small island developing states.
Mr. Skerrit told a high-level UN meeting on climate and sustainable development this should also include uncomplicated procurement and reporting processes aimed at catalyzing the rollout of blue and green economy activities. Mr. Skerrit says this would also be geared at enabling the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs, facilitating adaptation and mitigation. This was just one of 3 recommendations made by the Prime Minister in his UN address on small island developing states and facilitating the implementation of the SDGs.
The second is for the specific provision to be made for seeds in the upcoming review of the Addis Ababa Financing for Development agenda. This carve-out should recognize and take cognizance of the peculiar circumstances of seeds. For the reality is that the much-touted lever of innovative financing, characterized by insurance instruments and private sector financing, has limited application in seeds and LDCs. Third is the creation of a mechanism for countries of the Global South to share knowledge, best practices, low-carbon technologies, and the services of national experts in helping each other to find solutions to the common problems of climate change and development.
And the final decision on the future of cash-strapped Liat is expected later this week. This as the regional airline came into focus during an all-day meeting at Hilton, Barbados. Prime Minister Mia Mottley, Minister for Tourism Kerry Simmons, Chairman of the Liat shareholder governments, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and trade union representatives were at the negotiating table for more than 8 hours before calling it quits just after 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. According to the Barbados Nation, officials have been asked to come up with a number of proposals to present to Mottley before the weekend. One source close to the negotiations is reporting a number of positions were explored, and those present are to now get back to the governments later this week regarding the positions that were tabled.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are,
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
there's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
To end the news, the headlines again. Prime Minister Skerrit makes appeals in UN address for assistance for small island developing states to implement sustainable development goals. Contracts signed for the restoration of 5 segments of the Waitukubuli National Trail and $3 million needed to complete the Cathedral renovation project. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access or pause the newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.